Hi, Chef Raphael here. This video is delicious. I'm baking today. I'm making a delicious white bread. Now I have two variations. There's one which is plain and one which has chocolate. You can see the spiral in it. It's a super simple bread to bake. It's soft. It smells really great. Let me taste first. The chocolate is perfect. Even if it doesn't have the chocolate, if you are using the plain one, you can apply some butter or jam. It's a rich bread because it has milk. Super simple to make. What I love about it, and this is what the first time I actually saw this recipe, I really wanted to do it. This unique design and shape. On this video, you learn how I came up with this and how to incorporate the chocolate. Watch till the end, you see how simple it is to make it. Let me know in the comment section when you make yours how it turns out, and let's get cooking. So welcome to the show. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hit the bell button so that you're notified whenever I have a new video out. This channel is all about making you a better home cook or home baker. So I got the inspiration for this recipe on the internet as I was checking other YouTube videos, and then I tried it out and it came out so perfectly, and I thought, this is a recipe that I need to share. What I've done with mine is I've made a little bit different. I've used chocolate chips. You can use raisins, but more of that within the video. So keep watching to see all that. I have timestamps and for each specific section of the video. So you can, if you want to jump to a specific part of the video, check on the timeline of the video to see the different parts. Now, the first thing I did is to gather all the ingredients. So when it comes to baking, I always say this: measure your ingredients. So you have the flour, which is all-purpose flour, in a bowl, and then I'll add all the dry ingredients. And then for the quantities of the ingredients, again, check them out on the description of the video. I'll add all the dry ingredients, that's the yeast, the sugar, and the salt, mix them up, and then I'll add the wet ingredients, which is in this case the milk. Now, before adding the milk, it's a good idea to make a well, which is basically a hole at the center of the flour where you can pour the milk in, and then I'll add the cooking oil as well, and basically mix them using a wooden spoon. It prevents your hands from being too sticky, so it's a good idea if you use a wooden spoon to mix. So keep mixing and mixing and mixing until the dough and the milk and the flour combine into a dough. And when you can't mix further using the wooden spoon, use your hands. So you'll keep kneading, and the whole idea when it comes to kneading is to knead and knead until all the dry flour is incorporated into the dough. And it's a good idea if you transfer the dough into a work surface that it's clean, and then keep kneading. Now for the kneading process, it actually, for this amount of dough, if you're doing it by hand, for me it took me about 4 or 5 minutes. So it's something that can take long. It's a little bit hard, but just keep doing it slowly by slowly. And the idea is to keep stretching the dough. So as you keep kneading, you're stretching it using the palm of your hand, and then you're using both hands to keep kneading and kneading. At some point, all the dry flour will be incorporated, and then and at this point, if you're using the measurements correctly, it will not be sticky. You'll keep kneading and kneading until it's a smooth ball. Again, it took me about 4 to 5 minutes for it to reach the stage whereby it's nice and soft. So all that is left after kneading it into a ball, in fact, shape it into a nice ball, put it in a bowl, and then after this, I'll show you what to do next, which is dividing it into two. So now that's the dough, it's ready. All I need to do is to divide this into two. So this will give me the 2 loaves of bread. Try and approximate exactly half. Even if they're slightly different inside, it's okay. Put one aside. Now I want to roll this flat, and then I'll put my filling. Actually, I have my chocolate chips here. It's just a chocolate block that I've cut into smaller pieces like this. You can get chocolate chips. And then now I'm going to roll this. I want it long and slightly wide. A little bit of flour to dust the surface, not too much. Now remember, you don't necessarily have to let it rest, not after the kneading process. So a little bit wide, like that. So it's ready. Now this step, now if I wanted it plain, I'll roll it like this. But if I wanted it plain, that's what I'm going to do. In fact, this one will actually be plain, but this one will have the chocolate. I'll start, this is the good side, which is what I want. So that one will be left. This one is not so nice. I'll leave it like that. Not too much. Up to this point. You can also use raisins. So that's it. Then now I'm going to roll it. Now when you're rolling it, make sure it's a little bit tight. So at this point, I'm going to make some cuts. When you have a pastry cutter, it's much easier, but you can also use a small knife. And then like that, and then you seal the edges. And then it's now ready for putting it on a tray, ready for baking. But before that, we're going to cover it. I'll roll the second one, and then I'll show you what to do next after this stage is finished. The second one is ready. All that is left is to cover it with the cling film. And then basically you want it to rise and to proof, basically, and it's a good idea if I place a kitchen towel like that. Keep it in a warm place. It should take about 30 minutes for it, but it also depends with how warm your kitchen is. So keep it in the warmest place. It should basically rise, and then I'll show you what to do next. So my bread is all puffed up. This is exactly what you want to see. It has almost doubled in size. Now remember, when you do the cut, the part that was cut should come on the bottom so that it's actually tucked in. Now I'm not even going to touch it. All that is left now is to apply some egg wash. Now to make the egg wash, we need 1 egg yolk, and we are going to add 1 tablespoon of milk. We are not using the whole egg. We want the egg yolk. Mix it and brush the top. So there you have it. Make sure that it's completely covered. It looks yellow on the top. Check on the sides, let it go on the side as well. And in fact, that's why we have a parchment paper. So it's a good idea to have this paper before you actually place the baking tin. And now we're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius. So the bread is done. Actually took the 25 minutes. When it's baking, keep an eye on it. So what usually happens when you're baking, sometimes one end may become more brown, especially the inside. So it's always a good idea whenever you're baking. It happens to most oven, if it's not all. At some point, let's say you've put it in the oven like this, you need to remove it from the oven and turn it to cook on the other side. Otherwise, what would happen is that one side would cook more than the other. When it comes to the color, in fact, it came out perfectly because the chocolate one is darker and the plain one is like this, but it's up to you. Now, what I did, I actually took for 25 minutes in the oven, but at around minute 20, I reduced the heat to reduce the browning effect. Because you're cooking it at 200 degrees Celsius, it's a little bit high, so you can always reduce it to around 160 degrees if you notice that the top has browned to your satisfaction. Personally, I like bread that is nicely golden brown like this. And then another thing, the reason why it's actually this color is because of the egg yolk and milk mixture. So if you use the whole egg and then maybe skip the milk, it will not give that this nice color. So the trick here is the egg yolk and the milk. That one will give you a better egg wash than the whole egg wash. That's the other tip. So when it comes to the inside, when it comes to the bread, first of all, it smells splendid. It's nice and soft, it's bouncy. Now the chocolate one is the one I chose to cut because as you can see, the chocolate is, if you look closely, even when you bake yours, you'll notice the spiral that we did when you are rolling it. And then even the chocolate now goes round like that. Perfect. It's because it has sugar. It's a sweet bread. It has milk, so it's very rich. And it's like I said, it smells really nice. Actually, my kitchen smells like a bakery. I'm ending the show. I hope you learned something new. Let me know in the comment section how yours turns out. Like I said, you can use raisins. In my case, I use also chocolate. You can use white chocolate as well. Let me know what else you'd want that you'd try, and after making it, what else you make with it when on the inside. I'm signing out. I'm Chef Raphael. Check the recipe, like I said, on the description and the quantities, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.